funded by the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland with the television licence fee.
You're listening to Programme 3 of the 5-part series Say Yes to Health and No to Drugs. The series which investigates the work of various people and groups in helping others to find recovery from addiction. In our last programme we heard how the 12-step recovery programme is one of the most effective programmes in helping countless addicts to find recovery. To briefly explain what the 12-step recovery programme is about, here's Jerry Carroll, manager of Ashiree Céimhleadh Addiction Treatment Centre in Waterford City.
The 12-step recovery programme really acknowledges the fact that addiction is a disease and you're never cured. And nobody, first of all, you have to admit that there is a problem, and you have to look at how that unmanageability has come into your life. Then you acknowledge that you can't do this on your own, that you need the support of others. Then it's like looking at the obstacles that get in your way. So, by making amends, getting rid of any debris that may be there from the past, and doing a really strong personal inventory of things that may have gone wrong in the past. And we look at our character defects, we look at who we are as a person, we look at our values, our morals, how we conduct ourselves. And we start living by the principles of a 12-step programme, and like honesty, integrity, fellowship. We can't, the 12-step programme is fundamental in the sense that the fellowships of Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous, that people in recovery who are following a 12-step programme, we can't do it alone, that you need the support of other people.
And concerning the 12-step recovery programme, I had the following question to ask Ross, who found recovery from addiction to alcohol and gambling in Coonmore Addiction Treatment Centre in Newry, County Down. Do users of the 12 steps, the AA or the GA or the NA recovery programmes have to believe in God and form a religion to use such tools for life as the 12 steps?
No, not at all. The word God is used quite a bit now in the 12 steps and throughout the recovery, the big book and literature throughout different fellowships, but it's a God of your own understanding, whether it be Christian or Judaism or Hindu or anything. There's a lot of atheism within the fellowship as well. It's a God of your own understanding. It's a higher power. It's realising that there is something out there that's bigger than you and that you can have trust in and have faith in. It might be something that you can see, but it's still there, if you know what I mean. Personally, myself, I actually use my father, who's passed away, as my higher power. And that's who whenever sometimes I'm struggling and I need that spiritual connection, that's who I would contact and that's who I would put my faith in. But no, definitely not. You don't need to have a God of really, it's whatever you believe in yourself.
"12 Steps is a spiritual way of living. That's not necessarily to say it's a religious doctrine. Any religion can join, or no religion can join. There's even atheists, agnostics."
Keith Cassidy, manager of Tabor House Addiction Treatment Centre in Navan, County Meath. Here's recovering addict Mark Codd.
In the programme of recovery, NA talks about a God of your understanding. So that can be a higher power. It can be someone you've lost, a human being who's passed on. It can be a tree. It can be whatever you want it to be.
You don't have to be religious at all. At all. I mean, you can have faith in anything. It's just having a faith. And if that faith is yourself, then that's good enough.
Donal, who found recovery from his addiction to drugs in Ashiree Céimhleadh Addiction Treatment Centre in Waterford City.
It's not about going to a church or anything like that. It's not about that. It's about coming in here and believing in yourself and having faith in something, That belief could be anything. It could be anything. It could be a car, could be your children, it could be absolutely anything. It's just that little bit of motivation, and that's what they did. Like, there's in no way, like, and what I would say to listeners, in no way is it the case, and some people are worried that it's the case, you come in and it's all about religion, this praying. It's not at all, you know. It's just a belief, and that's installed back to yourself, like believing in yourself and stuff like that, that you can do this and that you can get over this, you can change your life around.
Veering away from the 12 steps but staying with the realm of recovery from addiction. One group doing Trojan work to help countless people to find recovery is the Chrysalis Community Drug Project, based in Dublin 7. To explain what Chrysalis is about, here's addiction counsellor Coleman Runane.
Chrysalis is a harm reduction service. It's a community drug project that's 20 years plus in existence. It caters for people in the Dublin 7 area, and that's substance users, people that have issues with substance use, and also their families and concerned people, significant others in their lives. So, yeah, really it's a harm reduction service, and harm reduction really it's about increasing people's opportunities, empowering people, you know, to better their own lives, to live healthy lives. Harm reduction is exactly what it says, I suppose. It's to reduce harm, and of course substance use is very harmful.
Absolutely. And what kind of services does Chrysalis provide?
Well, it provides a range of services, a considerable number. We start really, I suppose, with assessment. You know, somebody might be referred to our service, could be from a statutory body, could be from probation service, courts, or it can be self-referral, it can be family referral, friends. So assessment is the key thing really to ascertain what it is the issue, whether or not this service is the appropriate service, you know, to help that person. So, you know, you gain a lot of information by thorough assessment. So we assess people. We would assign then, we'd ascertain how we can best help people. So the bulk of our services are, I suppose, in a nutshell, key working. So key working, to explain that, is really a focused piece of work, goal-oriented piece of work to help somebody, and it could be something as small as organising a medical card, you know, filling out a form, making a phone call, connecting to another service. Because oftentimes these things can be problematic for people that want to deal with a substance issue, you know, when you've got these
the practicalities of how do I progress in my life, and maybe, as you said, you know, getting in connection with a vital service this person needs, but they just don't know how to go about it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as I say, oftentimes the little things are not allowing someone to focus on the problem of the substance, I suppose, and I suppose key working helps to get that out of the way. So after key working, really our major service is case management, and case management is coordinating all of the services that individual may be engaged with. It can be quite complicated. For example, if somebody is undergoing a community detox, they're connected also with, you know, probation or legal services. There may be issues around their children, lots of different things together. So the case manager really coordinates all these actions and really sets out a care plan to try to ascertain, you know, what the support area is, who's responsible for doing what the actions are, what the blocks and barriers are to achieving the result that you want. So it's a lot more complex. So case management would be the second thing. And we would also do a lot of work with community detox support. And community detox really is a partnership. So we would work with the individual, with their doctor, with their clinic in relation to planning a community detox that's appropriate for the individual and helping them to achieve it. So that'll be another big part of our service. We also have a counselling service, so it's addiction counselling and it's generic counselling, and we operate our counselling service all throughout the week, Monday to Thursday. So again, that's the large part of our service. This is all really the core project of Chrysalis. The final piece really in that core project is our Merge group. It's a Monday evening recovery group, and that is a group that has been very successful over the last 8 years or so, really, in helping people to undergo stabilisation, undergo treatment to come out the other side of it, I suppose, So that happens every Monday from 6 to 8 o'clock. It's by referral, and we would screen the people that come to the project. Normally we'd operate it for 6 months at a time, but it tends to go on actually a lot longer and is rolling really, and doesn't actually stop. So that would be the core project. Also, Chrysalis has a sex work project. So that's a street outreach project that's looked after by one of the case managers here. So really it's harm reduction again. It's materials and information to street sex workers. And again, with the focus on harm reduction. Very important service. Another aspect of Chrysalis is peer-led initiatives. There's a lot of peer work and a lot of focus on peer work. So we would have recovery coaches who would assist in early recovery. There's 2 of those that would have undergone training in recovery coaching. We would have the peer social night on a Tuesday night, which is a very relaxed, fun, holistic, safe place to come and talk. It's kind of like for service users, and of course Dublin 7. We're pretty. It all relates around Dublin 7. That's what our service is for. So we also have a peer recovery night. That's on a Thursday night. That's a drug-free night. So that's support, again, some holistics and support for people who have come through the process and are actually drug-free.
Coleman, it seems that group support is very much, it's a motif that's going through a lot of the work. I mean, how important is this group support, peer support, talking it out, meeting up with people in the same situation? How important group support?
I think it's very important because there's a lot of power in group. I would run the marriage group with my colleague Tanya, and there's great power in group. There's great power in recognition, in people coming together to talk about the same thing. Really, there's an awful lot of knowledge you find in a group. People have such experience, and the sharing of that experience is vital in lots of ways, because it I suppose, going back to the whole ethos and the whole mission, I suppose, of Chrysalis, empowering people to improve their lives, to make a difference and lead healthier lives. So I think you can't underestimate the power of the group.
In the group, if I have a problem today, I can talk to someone about it and tell them how I'm getting on in life, and that's where recovery starts. The answer is in the group.
The power of the group is where the healing is, because you realise you're not alone.
We all do together for what we can't do on our own.
If there's somebody struggling, they'll help somebody along. And that's how it goes. It's about passing on the message.
We're all in this together, and we can all come through together, and we can all succeed at this together.
People gain a lot of strength from coming together and talking. I mean, it's really, I suppose, in the communication of the difficulties people have and how they address them.
And after my talk with Coleman Ronayne of Chrysalis Community Drug Project based in Dublin 7, I next rendezvous with someone who found great support from Chrysalis. Here he is to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Brian. My main addiction was drink, but I did take a major grip on my life, The fact that drink is everywhere, It's everywhere you go. It's everybody's doing it, But that's the fact of it, Everyone I know had been drinking, But I mean, some people could leave it, take it or leave it. I couldn't, unfortunately, So I mean, it became just controlling my life, every aspect of my life nearly, through losing jobs, through anger, and affecting family circumstances as well.
And what changed it, Brian? What made you say, look, this has to stop?
Oh well, it was just like the fact that I'd been losing jobs. I couldn't hold a job down to save my life, Not just that, I become quite an angry person as well, a hopeless person nearly, at one stage, I could see no way out of it really, There was a lot of anxiety involved as well, a lot of depression. There was fear of just, losing everything, at one stage. So I just decided to just give it a go, see what it was like to give up and try, I just reached out and asked for some help.
Where did you reach out to? Where did you find help?
Well, I there's a chap I know that actually he guided me in the path of a place called Chrysalis. It's where I received an assessment, and that was assessing me through how much I was drinking and how much I was involved in, ruining my life mainly, So, I'd done a bit of legwork myself to get there. After a couple of weeks or 2 months maybe, I was given a phone call back saying there was a place for me in a place called Asherie down in Wexford, which I went into, and I was told it was a month long. So it was also we're a group of people. There was about 12 of us all together. So it was just a month long, and it was therapy. There was speaking to counsellors, stuff like that, But I mean, saying that now, most of the work you really do have to do it yourself to get in there. No one's gonna, drop you in. You can't just, expect to be, your bags to be packed for you and to be brought into the place. You kind of have to bring yourself, and you have to have
the choice. You have to make that choice. Look, this is for me, and I'm going to have to work at this.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You have to want to do it yourself. Anybody that doesn't give it 100%, and that effort, 100% effort to do it, they will probably fail in doing it. As I say, the legwork is up to yourself to get in there. It's the will and the want to do it. And without that will and want in the first place, I don't think you'll succeed, no way.
You make the first step into recovery and accept that you have the problem, and the problem is yourself, and you try your best.
Recovery isn't a choice, because it is a choice, but it's your own choice. It's my own choice to get recovery.
By making that phone call and even just getting into the rooms and being around people that have the same problem as you, you'd be very surprised. A lot of people would be scared, thinking that, is it just me that has this problem? And it's not, it really isn't. There's so many people out there.
In recovery, you're no longer alone. There is help there, there is support there, and it's getting involved in groups, taking part in groups.
There's a life beyond anybody's dreams if they want it.
Earlier in this programme we heard how the 12-step recovery programme is used by many people to find recovery from addiction. Brian had this to say about his experience of the 12-step recovery programme and the vital importance of group support meetings.
12 steps to me now, it's a work in progress. It always will be. You're going to be doing this for the rest of your life, effectively. You're always going to be an addict. So that's why I look at it, I still go to meetings. I go to 2 or 3 a week. I also go to an aftercare programme, and I go to speak to a chap in Chrysalis, which helps me a great deal. Even if you get 2 meetings a week, it just kind of refreshes you, it just helps that much more, And
I'm not alone, there's other guys out there. We're in this together as part of a group, and together we can succeed. Would I be right?
There's no doubt about it. We're out to meetings now, They're the basis, of just staying sober and staying clean, There's a great camaraderie, I'd say, we're in them, And there's a great determination of people, and there's great help for people out there too. Even if you can't get yourself into a treatment centre, you could even go to meetings where you will be guided onto that path. And not everybody wants to go to a treatment centre. Maybe you want to just sit with meetings. But I do believe that's the basis of staying clean and sober.
Brian, would you have any advice to anyone listening in who's suffering from addiction or knows anyone who's caught up in addiction?
Yes, I certainly would, yeah. I believe that, don't give up hope, don't give up trying. Because I started trying to give up, it would have been 10 years ago now, And I failed a good few times, but I didn't stop, didn't give up. And there's so much help out there, it's unreal. But saying that now, you do have to want to do it and have to want to do it yourself. And, there's so much help out there if you want to do it and try.
And there is life after addiction.
There certainly is, yes. I do believe that now. I feel great now, And, I haven't even thought about turning back so far, So far, so good.
Staying with the topic of recovery from addiction, Mark Codd, a recovering addict and also a project worker with Chrysalis Community Drug Project in Dublin 7, divulges how Narcotics Anonymous, otherwise called NA, helps him.
Well, for me, it's part of a solution. I do always say to myself and to other people, meetings don't keep me clean, but they help. A sponsor doesn't keep me clean, but he helps. Counselling doesn't keep me clean, but it helps. There is one entity that will keep me clean, and that's me. I make the conscious choice every day not to use drugs when I wake up. You know, I make the conscious choice to make me bed, have me breakfast, go to work, go to college, be nice to people, you know. And so I suppose for me, NA it's a platform where I can share where I'm at in an open space with people who are also like-minded, who are in recovery. I have a sponsor. Sometimes I have issues with having a sponsor because my ego will tell me I don't need a sponsor. I can do this alone, but I can't. In the early days of recovery, I had issues about going to meetings because I didn't believe I was like the rest of them people. I didn't believe I was an addict. I couldn't accept I was an addict. And yet I had 30 years addiction behind me, you know, so it can be very...
The mind plays tricks with us all, let's be honest. Nobody's perfect, but sometimes,
Addiction is a battle between the years, you know, and you can get a certain level of control of your mind, not so much in decision making or choices that you make, but just in a general day, you know, learning to live with your crazy mind sometimes, you know, just how you go about interacting with people, how you respond to people who may challenge you, who may upset you, who may touch off something inside you that's making you feel very uncomfortable. In previous life, I would have run from those sort of feelings, you know. So now it's about managing myself on a daily basis, and that's what NA gives you. NA teaches you about living in the day, and if you can live in the day, just today, not pick up drugs, not resort to other stuff, to mind-altering substances or activities. You know, you can get lost in lots of things. People, you know, some people are hooked on their phones, some people are hooked on pornography, some people it's shopping, some people it's shoplifting. But these are all things that you can escape into. And if you want to stay away from addiction, you have to stop trying to escape, you know. And it's not easy. It's a daily battle, but most addicts will tell you, recovering addicts, active addicts, we have an inner critic, you know. You're no good, you can't do that, you won't achieve that, you're just this, you're that, you've done all this bad stuff, you know. And over time, as you're in recovery, that voice of the inner critic becomes lower, less damaging to the mind, and the voice that becomes louder is the recovery voice. And that's, I suppose, in NA what would be termed as positive affirmation, you know, telling yourself that you're doing well, telling yourself that you're a nice person, that you deserve a crack at this, you know. That you'll hear some people in NA say, I've earned my seat in this room, you know. And so it's those sort of affirmations what recovery gives you, and what you have to keep repeating over and over and over to yourself, you know. It's a daily thing, it's a daily reprieve, but if you just do it for one day, you know, I like me 8 hours sleep, sometimes 9. I'm up then, I'm working between, I do a day programme part-time, I work in Chrysalis as well, and I do meetings. I try and get to at least 3 meetings a week, sometimes 4, sometimes 5. I have regular counselling with an addiction counsellor. So I have a pretty full-on week. And again, I wouldn't have that but for recovery, you know. I'm starting college soon, 2-year study programme. It's amazing that I'm even doing it. I couldn't have done that in active addiction.
I'd say you already know your new life, Mark. Talk, I mean, without getting over dramatic, liberation or what?
It's freedom is exactly what it is. Like, they talk in the literature, and it's a cliche, but cliches exist for a reason because they're true. And that cliche is living a life beyond your wildest dreams. You know, that's in the literature. And for me to be away from drugs, going to college, connected to family, making new friends, making new relationships, planning a new life. It's just amazing, and yeah, NA has been a big part of that, and I've made some good friends in it, people who support me on a daily basis. You know, one of the big things for any recovering addict is having people on the end of a phone.
Group support, in other words.
Yeah, group and individual, you know, like your sponsor, people that you become friends with. I keep my circle close. I would have serious trust issues with human beings in general relative to me childhood in particular without going into that. So once you have those people, it's then about having the ability and the courage to pick the phone up. It's all very well having the phone number, but if you can't pick up the phone and dial the number, that's going to be difficult. So once you can do that then, and again I refer to the literature of NA, it talks about one addict helping another, and that's what you're doing in those processes when you make a phone call, whether it's to a friend in NA or another member or a sponsor or your counsellor, whoever it may be. It's having that ability to do that, and once you share it, you're taking the power of it, you know. Like, an addict's mind at any given moment can wander very quickly. Most human beings' minds wander, you know, but an addict's particularly can wander into a dark place very quickly, and that inner critic becomes loud again, you know, and that's what we try and avoid at all costs, you know. It does happen, you can't get away from it, that's reality, you know, but when you have the access to the different supports, like the phone call, even a text, you know, the addict one, you know, this is where I'm at and this is what's going on in my head, and then you make a connection, you know.
I'm kind of sticking with the winners, you know. This guy is on the same wavelength. He gets me. He's been there. Would I be right?
Yeah. Well, one of the big things for me is, and I shared it actually in a meeting a few weeks ago. There's a couple of particular meetings that I go to, and there are members there without breaking anonymity. Some 15 years clean, some 20, and a few people. There's one guy in particular who goes to a meeting regular that I go to, and he's 30 plus years clean. So the big thing for me there is not so much what that particular member or the others, the long time clean people share, it's just the fact that they're at a meeting, you know. So the program works. These people are still going to meetings 15, 20, 30 years after first coming into recovery. So it's clear that if you, in the literature it says few meetings, you have very few chances of staying clean. Regular meetings, you'll regularly stay clean, and a lot of meetings, there's a good chance you will stay clean permanently, you know. And so there's a reason for that, you know. And as part of an overall package, it works, you know.
Funded by the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland with the television licence fee.